If you look back, there's a common understanding among Americans, defense leaders, that the future of our national security is tied to the success of our competition with China. This competition is occurring across every field of national power, military, economic, political, technological, and more, and across every region of the world. To maintain our edge, the United States must dedicate urgent and sustained attention to each of these efforts. In particular, U.S. defense leaders must evolve the way we compete in the Indo-Pacific. The Department of Defense has long built its comprehensive mindset around the idea of winning in an armed conflict and deterring China through military dominance. And this is no longer enough. The game has changed, and our capacity for outright victory through military strength should not be our only measure of success. The Defense Department needs to better understand how China is competing, developing new tools for competition with the Chinese, and integrate our activities with those of our allies and partners. As the Defense Department's new joint concept for competing puts it, China seeks to win without fighting. The strategy warns that if we do not adapt our approach to compete more effectively, the United States risks ceding strategic influence, advantage, and leverage while preparing for a war that never occurs. Indeed, the document warns that the U.S. could lose without fighting. Just as Chinese leaders have studied our way of war, we need to study theirs. The Defense Department, as well as the United States defense industry and interagencies, should develop asymmetric capabilities of our own. The joint concept for competing provides a valuable framework for approaching this challenge. Certainly, we will continue to prepare our military to be ready to fight and win in an armed conflict if needed. But we must recognize that a war with China could be devastating for both of our nations and the world, and winning could be a Pyrrhic victory. Ultimately, our strategic competition with China is not just a rivalry of military or economic power, but also a competition of ideas. This requires us to develop an understanding of our adversaries' philosophies, objectives, strengths, weaknesses, and cultures, as well as our own. Knowing their culture and understanding our culture are challenges that affect us in every conflict we've engaged with. In fact, and many times they have been, if not decisive, certainly critically important.